YouTube family, when you try to stop, they keep pulling you back in. Now, I just did a beautiful video about O'Shea Duke Jackson, somewhat looking like an agent of chaos and grifting, catering to Charlie Kirk supporters. Now, I'm going to start off. We're going to talk about uncensored hip hop. We got to call them out too. But you know how we, unfortunately, yes, I said unfortunately, how we have to start this video so they don't intertwine our words to make us look like we're the bad guys. So I'm going to say it once again, which I should never have to say that in America. But unfortunately, I have to say this. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. We're not advocating for anybody to be unalived or anything. It is wrong what happened to Charlie Kirk. But the fact that I'm a black brother, every video that I reference Charlie Kirk to not get in trouble, I have to reference rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. It's getting redundant. It's getting tiring to do that because if you don't add that on your video, they can act as if you're misinformation or act as if, you know, you're one of the people who Trump is trying to get out the way. Whoever say anything negative about Charlie Kirk, we're coming for you. And it's just getting tiring, bro. We haven't even done this for beautiful black souls who have died. We've never started our videos with rest in peace to them in hopes of not getting in trouble. We've never seen other groups of people who down... let me just make you guys say, salute to Sebastian, my pit bull. This is the real American. No offense to Charlie Kirk supporters. I trust him more than any of Charlie Kirk supporters for my own reasons. And I can make a whole video about that. But this video isn't really about Charlie Kirk. But I'm not really exploiting his name at all. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I could have made 100 videos about you. I didn't do them while you were alive because I didn't care very much about his talking points about black people. Once I see people use black people's name to exploit us, to get their whole stitch and money and foundation off of the exploitation of black people or off of slandering black people, I dismiss you. So it's like as if Charlie never existed to me. Now we can start the video. I wanted to get that out the way because there's a lot of beautiful black people who think I don't know who Charlie Kirk is. And some of them really think I'm defending a man like that. No, I am not defending this dude at all. But speaking of the people who are defending him, Uncensored Hip Hop is a YouTube channel. That channel has been stuck at 909,000 subscribers for years now. You would think they would have get 1 million subscribers like 6 years ago. I'm being very honest too. And their traction stopped for one particular reason, because they harp upon anything that's flowing that can gain them motivation. And maybe possibly, quite possibly, they're mad at black people for not supporting them the way they used to go hard in the paint. But before I give their history, let me tell you what they did do. And it's two guys who run Uncensored Hip Hop, but it's the chubby one with the braids trying to, I don't know if he's going through a midlife crisis. I don't know what he's trying to gain, but that brother, and I have no beef with them. I was proud to see them grow and become a foundational point in the hip hop world until 5 years ago, I stopped watching them. Now, these brothers are going, well, one of them is he's going out of his way to attack Charleston White. Charleston White, I'm not saying if I agree with Charleston issues or not, but I do stick the code. I do a very good job of sticking the code if you guys didn't notice it. I get attacked by certain blacks who don't understand my method, my methodologies, and what I use to combat racist and evil people who don't like us and who are not like us. But when some of you black people grow up, which I'm not going to disparage you because you're my beautiful people, but when you grow up, you'll realize the way BlessOne uses his tactics, you'll appreciate me very much more, because the same people who get mad at me, you're subscribed to stepping, fetching YouTubers and content creators that you never hold accountable simply for the fact these content creators are not brave enough to have these conversations. These content creators are only looking for their monetization worthy moments. And you guys know, if I would have just stick to hip hop and dead rappers, I would have been rich. But I have a soul. I got black sons, man. A lot of them. And I teach them to be proud black Americans. I teach them to love their country. And the better thing of all that Charlie seemed not to have, I teach my sons to love black people. you are this. There are going to be black people who disagree with you in life. You might get in conflicts with them, but always have a conflict resolution, meaning that you and this brother might have fought on Monday, but by the time it's next Monday, make sure y'all make peace with each other, because when you wake up, you realize you really love this brother. You guys just had a falling out. That's why I'm real good at dealing with the black people who attack me, because I understand your anger is misguided. But uncensored hip hop came at Charleston White and said he's using trigger words, X, Y, and Z. And my thing is, what's up with all these black guys and women who are turning into lapdogs? You're so afraid of Charlie Kirk and his supporters. You claim Charlie Kirk is this innocent man, then act like it. Why are you acting like we're stuck in Nazi Germany and you can't say anything critical of a certain group of people? This is wild to me. I stand up for free speech, but goddamn, it seems that free speech is only obligated and given to certain groups of people. I dare say to the hands of the wicked. The scripture told us the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, and it seemed like you stepping fetching dudes are performing your best tap dancing routines. Why is it that all you black people who feel like you need to be the savior of the day for Charlie Kirk, you don't have this same animosity and anger displayed towards the other groups of nations? Why is it that every step, if I seen one sister on Instagram just disgusting, and you know I don't talk bad about my beautiful queens, but she is no queen to me. You guys could keep her. I'm gonna make an edit video somewhere this week of all the stepping fetchings who are doing the most for Charlie. And she thought she slayed. She said, look, if you are the one celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and blah, blah, first of all, nobody is really celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Those are propaganda, and those are paid alleged actors to continue to cause some type of misrepresentation of black people, particular black Americans, and claim we're heartless. So don't fall for these clowns and these paid servants of wickedness and evil. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. So this lady is up there, yeah, and this might be one of them long videos because I expect to have proper dialogue with adults. I understand we have new grown adults my age who are part of the TikTok generation and the YouTube short generation and Instagram, meaning that if it's past 50 seconds, your brain goes obsolete and you're mad at me, and then you didn't even listen to the whole video. Now you're commenting on a 20-something minute video. You're commenting how you feel about me versus only watching it for 50 seconds. How can you even have an opinion about me? Right. So this lady is out here yelling and talking about anybody celebrating Charlie Kirk's death is not, we don't serve the same God and all that. Well, who told you me and Charlie Kirk serve the same God? You see what I'm saying? Who told you? So you basically are dismissing that individual and calling them more wicked than what you thought Charlie Kirk was. So do you have anything to say against Charlie Kirk on some of the lies he said about black people? Because those were clearly misinformation. So do you agree with Charlie Kirk that 13% of the population, which is all of us black people, that we commit 68% of the crime? And if the logic of Charlie Kirk is true, that we commit 68% of the homicides and crimes in America, then why should I ever feel bad for white on white crime if you're basically telling me that doesn't exist? It's not that I don't feel bad when there's white on white crime, but by your own stats and logic, you know, these people of Charlie Kirk, per capita. So by your per capita logic, I shouldn't feel sorry when I hear about white on white crime based on your interpretation of it doesn't really exist. It's just that black people are harming whites and black people are harming each other. That's what you want the world to believe. So you skewed your stats and refrained away from the percentage only affects black people. It doesn't affect non-black people. That's who black on black crime affects. There isn't a scale that can really properly show these measures. So you guys have these stats to spread misinformation about black people. So to see that woman up there crying and lashing out on black people, it reminds me of hip hop uncensored today. You're so mad at Charleston White. There's a lot of black people who don't even like Charleston White, but they did agree with him on his tactics on the Charlie Kirk situation. You know, I'm not saying if I agreed with Charleston White or not, but what I am saying is I'm going to stick to code and mind my own business. It's not black people's job to be the guard dogs of who says what about Charlie Kirk. Leave that up to YouTube to dictate if this video is horrible enough where they can take it down. That's YouTube's job. So you guys, in essence, are really rattling and snitching on your own people to get buttermilk biscuits and breadcrumbs. I agree wholeheartedly with Tariq Nasheed when he says that part. Now, there are certain things I don't agree with Tariq Nasheed, but we're not going to pretend Tariq Nasheed didn't hit the ghetto neighborhoods and gave them some type of new life. Whether it's history that we know about already, but there's a lot of brothers who didn't know that history, because there's a lot of people who's going to say, well, Tariq Nasheed is teaching history that we should know already. But you come to the hood, you'll be surprised how many brothers don't know this knowledge. So if you're doing your part in the black community to spread that, even if I disagree with you on certain things, I'm going to stick to code and be quiet because you're doing something that many of us are not. And that jealousy that runs rampant between black people spreads hate. And that's uncensored hip hop. I really feel they've been mad at black people. Their channels haven't been growing. So they have this infatuation of get back towards anything black, because why would you make the video towards Charleston White as if you're this Charlie Kirk supporter who was hurt by Charleston White? It had nothing to do with you, sir. You guys have to stop trying to get the acceptance. Stop trying to get the pat on the head so you can hear the golden words that all you step infections love. You know, you're different, nigga. You're a different black guy. I like this black guy. Whoa, you're different. You guys love that word. It seems like the truth has to be told why you guys love that word. You love to be separated from the blacks that the whites don't like versus the ones they like. You want to be the one in their good grade. And I'm like, you're all Americans, white, black, Spanish, Asians. Why do you people have to look to that one group as if they're more advanced and superior than you and I? No, I can love every group of Americans. I love white people, black people, Spanish, and Asians. But I will use some of the same tactics Charlie Kirk and his supporters use, which is sticking to code. They know a lot of the things Charlie Kirk said was hatred, if we're being for real. So if you're allowing me on this free society and this free platform at YouTube, I'm following the community guidelines and I'm giving my opinion without being disrespectful to Charlie Kirk. If you look at Charlie Kirk's rhetoric and you are a black person, you have a right to say this rhetoric was dangerous to black people. It was dangerous to my sons. What he preached out there, he basically gave my sons a label of criminals because he said 68% of the crimes and homicide by 13% of our population, which are black people, we're committing all this. So that means out of all my 9 sons, you know, at least 4 of them or more are going to be criminals. That's unfair. That's not true at all. My mom and dad have all these sons and we're not in that category. Just like I grew up in the hood from Broward County, Florida, Melrose Park. All them dudes had fathers in the homes, but you let Charlie Kirk tells you there's no fathers in our homes. More made up, juked up stats. I'm here to tell you guys, fathers being in the home counts a lot. But crimes still happen with fathers in the home. The guy who murdered Charlie Kirk, you're going to tell me he didn't have a father? Right. But they sweep that part under the rug. Do you know how many guys who got arrested in the neighborhoods, but their fathers was always there? Kids are going to grow up and become who they were destined to or who they forced themselves to grow up like. But these stats are dangerous to my sons. And Americans who claim they protect free speech, who claim they protect rights and all that, you seem to not have this heart or this empathy and sympathy towards black people and their plight. Because uncensored hip hop, one thing I noticed about what you and other step infections haven't done, you haven't had this same visceral of feeling towards the people who said this about black people. How come you, O'Shea Duke Jackson, that minstrel female, and a lot of you guys are all out and about, Anton Daniels, Brandon Tatum, how come you never reserved and used your platforms to defend us, to speak against Charlie Kirk and his false narrative? But all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk is no longer here with us, you're pretending that you're somebody who followed, you're a fanatic of his. No, you're a whistleblower and a guard dog who's getting ready to help your platform, because hopefully Charlie Kirk supporters can boost up your platform in the algorithm. There's nothing more than a grown man who steps and fetch that irks my heart the worst way. It erates me as I'm looking at it like, not to berate uncensored hip hop, but I just can't fake it no more. I never could, truthfully, since the second grade. I think that's when I actually snapped out of it, was in the second grade, where I seen a fellow teacher, Mrs. Chambers at Riverland Elementary, you know? She's supposed to be a black woman. She was a Jamaican woman. So I'm thinking, oh, you know, you got this teacher who cares about us. And it was a boy named Roberto. No, it was not Roberto. It was Guillermo. Roberto was my other friend in Riverland Elementary. I think that one was third grade. But it was second grade, maybe third grade class 2 of Miss Chambers. And remember, she's a Jamaican lady, bro. So I'm thinking this is our people. And what happened was Guillermo stole Ella's Telsey. I remember all the names. He stole Ella Telsey's dollar. And if you know, back in the days, $1 was a lot of money. And my dad taught me not to steal. You feel me? My great father said, you don't do things like that. That's why I've always worked for everything I got. But this Jamaican lady waits till everybody get out the class and says, I know you took Ella money. I know it was you, judging me, because I'm going to be real. Sometimes I was, you know, I didn't dress the best way in class. I come from poverty, bro. So I think she always was judgmental towards me versus the richer black kids and the Spanish and white kids, because Riverland was a diverse magnet program. And I remember that messed up my heart all the way, because my mom was one of them people who believed anything the teacher said. And this was one of them days where she didn't even tell my mom what happened. That's how I knew this was illegal, what you did to a kid. And Guillermo was my Spanish homeboy. He told me he stole Ella's money, you know? Like, I didn't snitch on him too, but I made him give that beautiful girl her money back, because they used to tease Ella, called her ugly and all that. Man, she grew up to be the pretty beauty from the ugly duckling, bro. She was always beautiful to me. I've never judged dark-skinned women. I've never made them feel unwanted. But that's what that lady went, well, when she was a young girl, what she went through. And I made Guillermo give Ella the money, and I didn't get Guillermo in trouble. This is factual. Kept my mouth shut, and I did the right thing and stood up for one of our sisters. So I was proud of myself at a young age. You see a movie like Malcolm X with Denzel Washington portraying that. I don't know how our people never get these awards for portraying the biography of some of these greatest men and women. We never get awarded for it, but let us play a prostitute, a pimp, a hustler, and you'll give this award. Greatest thing Denzel Washington ever said to me back in the days when BET was still BET, and I went to my uncle's house because I didn't have cable growing up. Denzel Washington said, who is Oscar? What is this Oscar we're all trying to get? This Oscar doesn't determine my merits in life. I'm always a proud brother. I don't know if you can call me militant, but I don't have no words or phrases to coin to identify with loving my people. There is none. So uncensored hip hop, I say this: where were you stepping fetchings to combat against the exploitations of our people, the people who slander us, who use visceral of hate towards us? And I'm showing people how to be brave. YouTube is not going to get rid of me. I'm following the rules. I'm following the laws, because I'm a black man who understands I have the same rights as my counterparts. But you people think this is still a certain era where you don't have to have a backbone, but you need a backbone. Even if society was against us, which it does feel against us, you need a backbone. I'm tired of seeing a grown brother just be so weak. A skinny dude like me is stronger than all of y'all. This is why when I got in fights with dudes 2 times my size, I always came out on top, because God is going to put something on your backbone whether you want it or not. He knows what you're destined for. So you can avoid, you can run away from what we are. But Charleston White, whether I agree with him or not, it may have been distasteful what he did, but I'm going to stick the code, man. I'm going to be like every other Americans who are non-black who stick the code. And I'm going to show our people we need to start practicing that. Stick the code is not just something to put on a t-shirt. Sticking the code means stick the code by all means necessary. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, but there is no tears on this side. And my house is feeling good on a Sunday. There is no tears. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not being mean about it or anything like that. This man hated me. This man disliked me. This man, Charlie Kirk, preached the message of hate, and you can tell I'm the better man because I'm still saying rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. This is the real truth about black people. No matter what you do to us, what type of harm you do, we're not going to change our hearts and our mindset, which God created and made us. So people can pretend Charlie is this, he was this great American. That's your interpretation. I can't get mad at that. But you're not going to force me, a United States veteran, to look at him as a fallen comrade. No, he's a fallen American, which he should be given those privilege of rest in peace. But do not equate him as a soldier who died in Iraq or a soldier who died in Afghanistan. Is disrespectful to those Buffalo soldiers back in the Indian American wars, back in the Civil War. Like Crispin Attucks, the first soldier to fall for America in the American Revolution. He is not none of those. He is not the Tuskegee Airmen who are greater fighter pilots than all your American heroes, and we still don't get our props and respect. He is not like those Buffalo soldiers who went on those shores of Normandy and so on and gained the respect of white Europeans simply for, goddamn, these brothers are brave. It teared down this ideology they had where the black people were nothing. So when they seen them ferocious fighters of America, those beautiful black, brown brothers, it scared the world because they were told we were nothing, because all our history gets whitewashed, it gets thrown in the garbage, and they only tell you come from Africa only. They misguide the truth and don't let our young kids know there were already black people in America. That's not misinformation. You look at the memoirs and the diaries of Christopher Columbus that got confiscated by the sectors of Parliament and the royal families. Well, they seen what he wrote on it. He's seen all these black people, and it changed the course of their histories and teachings, which they still whitewash, because Christopher Columbus said it himself. He was so scared to see all these black people in the Americas. But now when a black person say they have Native American ancestries, people laugh at them. People mock them, make jokes, and maybe it's because of guys like Dwayne Calloway. I'm not here to disparage my brother. Sometimes Dwayne Calloway can use his own projections, so people think it's a hate, but I don't really laugh at Dwayne Calloway that much. You know, I know Tariq Nasheed makes jokes about him. Well, Tariq Nasheed was blessed. He can make you could be having a sad day, Tariq could say something, and you just get the laughing. So I might have laughed at Dwayne Calloway before, but let's not make any misconceptions about me. I know, I don't have to look at a Dwayne Calloway to know black people have always been in America. You look at the original Mexicans and so on and so on. You look at the scientific research that tells you, look at the artifacts that have been carbonated. It's been carbonated so long that their tools can't even find an actual year point where this artifact came from, meaning that these artifacts are millions of years old, and it scares the hell out of white researchers. But Charlie Kirk doesn't talk about things like that. He waters down black people to a criminal segment, and that's the only thing we are. So now if we combat against that, we're wrong to defend our people from slander and misrepresentation. So no, I'm not going to do that, man. As long as I got a voice, I will follow the rules of YouTube or anything, because the scriptures govern me. And the scripture says, obey the laws of the land. But the scripture doesn't tell me become one of the world. It says don't become one of the world. The only reason the scripture tells you to obey the laws of the land, so you don't get into conflict problems that other brothers get into. So the Most High is trying to tell you obey the laws, but he's also giving you the powers to be a strong black man, a strong human being, one that can critically think and maneuver his way out of the shackles and chains, which unfortunately uncensored hip hop and O'Shea Duke Jackson are still bonded by and confiscated by. So I'm a free thinking black man. And you can't just say it, you have to be that. And I can't fake anything than what you see from what you're seeing from DJ BlessOne. Whether I articulate my words or not shouldn't be something for you to harping upon me as an idiot, meaning that we are an intelligent group of people, and we use the verbiage of American language better than the non-black people. We speak better vocabulary and articulation of this English language because it's not a hard language to learn. So when you see a non-black person making fun of you because you speak in a ghetto verbiage or whatever, your vernacular is different from them, you look at yours as far better and greater than them because you could code switch. You could code switch so perfect that it can confuse people. This is a superpower. This is an attribute you should get acclimated to. It's activated. You can't deactivate it. Stop letting other people in sophisticated step infections, bourgeois Negroes tell you that you're too ghetto. You're uncooperative of learning the English language when that's not true. To teach me some redundant language doesn't explain my IQ prowls. It doesn't explain the prowls of my IQs at all. You're mad because I can't speak the language dictated by the people who govern you. The people who govern you. So you see a guy like me who breaks them shackles and chains, so I can either talk like this, or I can tell you, bro, we about to head on a Fifth Street right quick, and we'll swing over there by Dennis and them, and then we're gonna head over there yonder. See, a lot of y'all couldn't even catch that. But if you from the block, you heard perfectly what I just said. That's intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. Stop dictating and surrounding your life based on other people's opinions about you, based on other people's misconceptions. And is it really misconceptions, or they choose to hate you? Because I don't believe these non-black people have a misconception about us. I believe they know we're just as intelligent as them, if not far greater than them. But if they can continue this weaponry of platforms, cameras, and microphones, which is what Charlie Kirk had, that camera and that microphone is a weapon that weaponized against black people with propaganda and misinformation. Never negate that. Never negate that at all. You'll see what it really is, and you'll understand what it's like. I got a step infection neighbor who's a military veteran. As you can hear, he knows I'm outside doing this. So he's cutting his yard and all that because they get mad at me. I speak openly loud like this in this suburbs neighborhood. Proud black man. And guess who's the only ones who get mad when I speak loud and proud like this? Yup, the black neighbors. He hears that. I called him out so much times while I'm doing a video to stop his show. Even his wife probably condemns him. Even his wife probably can't stand him. That's why I pointed and I said it loud to hear him. You see, he's barely doing it right now. So I live this, ladies and gentlemen. This is truth. Most of the people who are going to be uncomfortable with a strong black individual is always going to be other black people. This is why you have O'Shea Duke Jackson, Uncensored Hip Hop, and so many other people, Anton Daniels, Brandon Tatum's. Their whole stitch is to step and fetch for them dollars. I don't care what they try to tell you. This is the way I thought. This is the way I think. But you only went this route 2 years ago, Anton Daniels, or everybody else. You're a grifter, respectfully. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ BlessOne, the best one. We'll have another conversation about this. You hit that like button. You share, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for the brotherhood. Thank you for the foundation. It's great to be a beautiful black American, and I'm not changing that from nobody. Nobody.